Alright then, so I'm not sure how many times you're gonna basically see like this, OBS basically pop up for this video, but well, I'm just gonna start something like, off script, I guess, or well, I guess I shouldn't say off script. I was actually planning to do the Krog unlock with my original character, but because I've gone magic with him by accident, I had to make an alternative character, of course, get the Krog unlocked. So the whole point of this video is gonna be to get the Krog unlocked. Alright, so you're probably going to see a few attempts basically of me basically trying to do this, but whatever, let's get to it. We'll slow her up. Alright, so this is David Unlock. He's basically sort of similar to the last the main character I'm basically making right now, but he's only level 19. But that's high enough basically to get through the anti-magic quest over here in Ziggur, become anti-magic, which I am, as you can basically see from down here. And get access to Necromancer quest. So I suspect I'm gonna basically lose this the first time around, which is basically why I'm trying to send this guy basically in. The basic plan here is I plan to send this guy basically in to sort of explore around the quest, see how it basically works. Let's go from there. So here's the Necromancer's ruins, and something hit me for a lot of damage. Alright, so I've watched out for stuff in here, I guess, because there's traps and vampires apparently. How nice. Nowhere left to explore. Alright, well. Interesting, got the quiver of some right there, but whatever. So we got ourselves basically a trapped area here. And it looks like I can't all explore because everything's already explored, so I have to manually run around in here. Let's heal up here a little bit. Wow, these guys are hurting me a little bit here. Let's just put that basically on to sort of protect myself here. Kill off this guy. There's the next level. There's the skeleton assassin right here. Traps to traps, because why not? Let's have traps in our dungeons. Just dig that out. Alright, well, that's basically the first level of the Necromancer's ruins here. So, I'm not sure, but I believe you can actually level set this area. That's something I always want to test, perhaps. I may want to keep that around, and we'll see. Now, I should probably note, by the way, because I'm basing magic, I might want to use Shard Affliction on my main character, so I might start using these things, but whatever. we'll get to that when we get to that. Alright, so, we're apparently 2 levels down here. The foul stench of the rotten ichor and undeath hangs over this place. There is necromancy at work here. As you listen more closely, you can hear the anguished bellows coming from inside the lair. There's a certain rough and deep timbre to the voice. Sounding like a mix of a dragon's roar and a giant's rumbling, that could be none other than the Krogs you came to rescue. You do not know what experiments the necromancers are performing on them, but you're certain that you need to stop them before they succeed. Alright, so yeah, basically just like the submissions that, like, you know, there's like a bunch of necromancers to kill. Very simple. And apparently I got a very crappy, like, you know, regeneration rune here, so let's replace that. This character, by the way, like, you know, it wasn't exactly, like, you know, really being careful with it for the most part, so it's basically lost, like, a bunch of lives and, like, you know, everything else, whatever. Oh, you know what the timer up here? There's basically captive Krog here. How this giant, this force of nature has been subcaptioned to do is proof that necromancers are not to be treated lightly. So basically, there's basically a bunch of chanting necromancers here. They're all elite. Let's just do this. And apparently I got blinded and, like, you know, dazed and everything else on the first go here, but whatever. Let's just do this. Should have put blind speed and this stuff basically on, because, you know, I completely forgot, but whatever. So I speed up. I've been knocked back, by the way, that's kind of annoying. Well, we launched at something. So I'll note that basically the idea of, like, this mission is that you're supposed to, like, you know, I guess, like, you know, sort of like level lock and come back to it, I guess. Because as you can see, basically it can be, like, kind of difficult because they're, you know, they're necromancers, of course. Now, I don't think this character has a whole lot of basically life left for him, by the way, so he won't be able to survive basically another hit, but that's fine. Now, here's basically a question I sort of asked myself: will I basically, like, lose this quest basically to, like, you know, help the like, you know, the Krogs basically if I run away? I basically, like, seen, like, some people suggest, like, you just go in there, you level lock the place and you come back, so looks like it's fine for now. By the way, these guys are invulnerable at the moment, but, you know, I think they're going to basically die, you know, very, very soon, but whatever. I'll actually activate this stuff this time around. And we'll do our Heartseeker. That's probably something up with these guys, by the day. Like, all hit very, very hard, so someone's apparently throwing my soul. Oh, and during my stamina, I basically have this active, so I have to watch out for that, but whatever. We're gonna at least try and kill one of these necromancers just to see what happens, so We're gonna rush him. Alright, it's basically, like, you know, after, like, you know, 20, like, you know, turns, these guys come invulnerable, I guess, so you have to watch out for that, but whatever. I guess they're gonna be attacked basically after that, so basically the idea is you have to kill these guys, like, you know, really quickly, these guys, so if you fail to kill them, then, like, you know, they're gonna, like, you know, attacked after that point. Doing a lot of level changing here, but, you know, this is how to sit, you know, we're just gonna do it. The thing is, I doubt we'll very much that we're basically gonna, like, you know, win this, but, you know, at least just try to show off this area, just like, you know, for like the second go of it is the plan here. See, I'm not to basically kill all the Krog, so I failed, honestly, but whatever. Alright, Grand Necromancer. So, you can hardly believe your guy standing in front of you is a Grandmaster of Necromancers is a Lich. So, we got a Lich over here. Activate that. Ow. Well, that's basically it for my character, but that's basically good to know. It's basically, like, you know, a lot of tough stuff down here. So yeah, I think, like, the main idea for, like, this, like, area is you have to sort of level lock it, so it's, like, you know, easier to basically do. Oh well, that's fine. Basically, plan like was basically to sort of test this out, just to, like, you know, get the sort of grasp of what the area is basically so it'd be like. Basically, I plan to, like, do is, like, you know, this level multiple times, so we'll see how it basically goes. But yeah, another basically we can do here is, like, you can actually, like, level lock, I believe it is, so we'll try doing that next. So basically, like, this video, you'll, like, see me, like, you know, do multiple attempts here. We'll see how it goes. All right, so when I last left off with the video here for the Krog unlock, you know, I'm basically trying to do here. We basically went through, found the dungeon, basically, like, you know, without any, like, you know, trouble really. Well, I found the dungeon without trouble, but, you know, when I basically got to the Necromancers, we saw how powerful they basically were, and it's sort of like a grasp basically what I basically have to do. So I meant to, like, make that sort of like a dry run, so this will be like the real run right here, so, like, you unlock the, like, you know, the Krogs. But before we actually jump in with the Krogs, there's actually something I want to show off to you guys first, so bear with me a moment. That looks like a new picture. So, before I actually jump in, I'll note that I'm basically level 25, which basically means I have my own, like, project point at this point. So if I look at my character here, you'll see that it basically has, like, you know, access to Windblade. And beyond that, basically, like, you know, it's fairly similar to, like, the last time. We basically have, like, you know, 4 dead lives here. We have 2 basically left. Again, I was sort of, like, you know, rushing basically through as fast as possible. Though, a couple deaths basically this time around, like, you know, more like my own hubris than anything else, so I should have known better, but whatever. Alright, so, before we actually jump in though, when I basically was like looking around, I actually came around across this weapon here. And this is basically Perseverance. It's basically like a new, like, you know, anti-magic, like, you know, unique weapon. And this weapon is basically a part of a set that, I basically sort of like helped design, I guess, because, I actually wrote the lore for, like, this, like, weapon here. Basically, when I was, like, you know, when, like, you know, the Krog were basically being developed, and, like, you know, Darkrai basically came up to them, I basically, like, you know, thought these, like, you know, weapons as being, like, you know, sort of like symbolic of, like, you know, the Krog, basically. So, where, like, you have, like, the ogres who basically can use, like, you know, two-handed weapons, like, you know, one-handed weapons, the Krog are basically, like, you know, hey, I can use, like, two, like, you know, one-handed weapons, like, you know, in both hands if I want to. So, I'm not sure if that's basically how the Krog are implemented it, but, you know, that's my idea. But anyhow, here's basically how the lore basically reads. So, Perseverance. It is said that the preferred weapons of the Krog is a mace in one hand and a sword in the other. One hand is to spread the message of Ziguranth, and the other is to see the message through to the end. The sword symbolizes the Krog's commitment to their task of fighting against the forces of the arcane. With each slash, the Krog would endeavor to continue until at last their opponents would fall. So basically, it's like a weapon that the Krog can actually use here, and as you can see, it's a fairly interesting weapon because basically restores stamina and equilibrium. On weapon crit, you actually have, like, you know, mana burn, like, you know, arcane. You have, like, you know, some, like, stun freeze immunity, some confusion immunity. Really nice weapon, and fairly good damage to it as well. Also uses stats for will and strength, so, you know, it's an interesting weapon. So I figured I'd basically show it off before, like, jumping into it. All right, so. On the bar, I also found the fan colors, basically like one new, like, you know, unique artifacts of this game. Apparently, you can put this on if you want to. You can sort of like last, like, you know, it can basically be like an extra life if you want. And I actually wonder if I should put it on, but, you know, we're just going to ignore it for now. We're just going to keep the Starlit ammo I basically found instead. And before I actually jump in, I'll look at this character here. I've actually stacked it this time to actually have some, like, cold and darkness resistance to it. I didn't find much darkness, but I did find quite a bit of cold, so hopefully that'll help with, like, you know, fighting Stick Masters here, because they're, you know, based on that sort of damage, a bit, you know, potential. And I should probably note by as well, this level is like, this is level locked, this area, so the occurrences should be a lot, like, you know, weaker. And I basically jumped down here to sort of, like, you know, set down this thing, but, you know, other than that, we're just ready to go, so. Well, we were until I hit the, you know, thing there, so. We're just gonna do this. Alright, now the plan I basically have here is I want to basically sort of like rush these guys and, like, you know, kill them as fast as possible before, like, you know, stuff happens. Alright, so here's the captive Krog basically right here. I guess these guys will heal up as, like, you know, time goes along here, so they're kind of at low health, but, you know, hopefully they'll, like, you know, get, like, better regeneration and stuff like that. And yeah, look at the Krog. They're basically, like, you know, green little fellows here, I guess, because, you know, infusions and like stuff like that in inner veins. Male giant, big, all this sort of stuff, attack, defense, talents. So J confused blood, Raptor of Wilds, there's some class talents basically for him. Now, last time I never actually checked these, like, nicknames to see, like, what they're all about, so let's actually look at these guys here. So here's basically the, like, you know, chanting Necromancer. He basically has essentially 500 hit points because he basically doesn't die until like turn 4. There's his souls and stuff. So basically there's this, like, you know, attack modifiers, basically like, you know, darkness, nature, stuff like that. So let's look at these guys' talents. These guys have, like, you know, Rhine disease, which is going to be annoying because they don't really have anything to deal with that. He's got invisibility, which is also annoying. Invoke darkness is basically, like, you know, what I basically want to defend against, but we don't really have anything for that, so. They're going to hurt quite a bit, these guys, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. Now, how this is going to work is I'm going to try to, like, lure them basically down here. I'll basically fight them, like, in the doorway, of course, so we'll just do that. So, come to me. Okay, there's the first one. We'll activate all this stuff right now. I won't activate evasion because, like, that won't help really right here, but, you know, we'll do the other stuff. So here's the first one, dazed. And let's just go skull crack on him. And of course, like, vanishes from sight, because, why not? It's probably a good time to use, like, silence, so I may look into that in a moment, but whatever, we'll see. Let's do this. We'll kill off, like, one of these, like, chanting necromancers here. Alright, Worm Nest. There's basically another, like, item that's new to, like, the, foreign cults. This unusual thick rope constantly wriggles and swarms. Small worms sometimes pop out of it, dropping to the floor. The worms will cushion attacks against your person, but you somehow do not like the idea of having so many parasitic creatures so close to your vulnerable flesh. So, there's the Worm Nest. Basically, these are armor. Powered by arcane forces, of course. Got carrying feet, got move speed. Not a bad item, but, I'm, of course, anti-magic, so whatever. Okay, let's do silence right here. That'll basically force this guy to, engage me like, melee. Alright, well, we got basically the lich up here somewhere, being annoying. Step out of here for a moment. This might be premature being activated, but, we'll just activate right now. And I got hit by a slumber there, I think. No, I resisted, because, like, high level. Alright, so something's basically hitting me. That's obviously the lich up here. But, whatever, it's fine. There he is. So, here's the Grand Necromancer. Let's see what this guy's all about. So, this guy's basically got him in the shadows. He's got Rune Standard Direction because he used some runes on me. A lot more life, a lot more, like, other stuff basically going on for him. Level 22 because, like, he's level locked. So, this guy has a vulnerability to light, of course, he's basically undead. There's this runes, by the way, so he's got Master's Rune, Master's Rune, Master's Rune, Maj'Eyal, Blink, and Ethereal. Him in the shadows, he's got Shadow Blast, Starfall. So lots of darkness talents in these guys. Basically, here's what these guys are all about. So, I made a mistake. I thought these guys would have some cold talents, but I guess they don't just have darkness really for them. But, whatever, it's fine. Let's go free to Krogs by killing off this guy here. So, we'll stun you. I don't think that's stun him, but whatever, we'll confuse him maybe. He casts the Rune of Ethereal, so he's like, somewhere else. Let's do this before, like, these guys pop out. I want to use Windblade as much as possible here to wipe this guy out, so... Let's do this here. Where is he? The annoying thing, by the way, about this guy being, like, hidden. I can't really see him, so... There's Starfall being dropped on me, and there he is right there, so... Apparently I got stunned by Starfall, which is kind of annoying, but, oh well. Let's take off Total Thugger at this point. I'm not really using the mana, so... There goes my thing there. There goes his stuff there as well. And there we go, clean the trash. So, here's the unlock for the Krog. Ogres were created long ago by terrible ways as elite fighters in the lore wars. Imbued from birth with runes, their bodies cannot survive without the arcane forces powering them. But while they are magic users, Ziguranth took pity on them, for they had not chosen their fate. It was forced upon them. After lots of painful but required experiments, Ziguranth were finally able to create an offshoot of the ogres race by replacing the runes and arcane forces with Drake, blood, and nature. Ever since, the Krogs, as they are called, have been mighty stalwarts of nature and staunch protectors of Ziggur. Elite fighters capable of dual-wielding any one-hand weapons to crush all foes in nature. Alright, so basically I guess they like, I guess like, they Dark God did take the like, suggestion that they like, do will like, one-handed weapons, so that's their like, sort of like, feat, but whatever. You have rescued a group of them from the undead, filth. Can now create new Krog characters. Alright, so race features. The wrath is so terrible that they can stun their foes with any attacks. Direct infused blood that lets them resist elements themselves. A mastery of infusions like no other. And a warborn race able to dual wield and one-handed weapons and survive situations that would kill most others. So that's the Krogs in a nutshell, by the way. They'll basically slowly heal up, I guess. Alright, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do this character right now for, but that's like basically what I want him to do, basically unlock these guys. And I guess like, I show off like, perseverance here, so that's nice. Now, it's worth knowing, by the way, these guys, like, that little description you saw right there. I didn't write that description myself, but, I did sort of help with, like, the idea, like, of, like, the creation of the Krog, so I'm sort of, like, part of the, like, the mind behind, like, how to basically, like, sort of, like, orient it and such. Dark God basically created the race, but I sort of, like, helped, like, suggest some of the ideas for it, I guess, so I contributed to it, basically. Alright, so now that that's basically done, let's just like go and check what the Krog can basically do, because I think they're actually like, anti-magic from birth, so they can't be like arcane classes. They're like locked from them. But I just want to see what they like, look like. So, new game. And we'll just like start Krog basically here to see what they're all about. By the way, did you notice the spelling mistake yet? I'll note that when I was basically looking at the sword, basically, it like said like Ziguranth, it says Ziguranth, and it says as opposed to have like an N in it for like Ziguranth, but whatever. Alright, so we now have basically exited both the giant here, so we got the Krog. So, Krogs were formerly ogres that have been radically changed. Stripped of the ruins from their bodies, the Ziguranth have managed to prevent the Krogs from dying by injecting them with a concoction of natural infusions and drake blood. The Krog are entirely devoted to the anti-magic cause, and seemingly know of nothing else in their lives. They possess the Wrath of the Wild's talent, which allows them to stun daze their foes. Stat modifiers are +3 strength, 1 negative dexterity, +2 constitution, 2 negative magic, +2 willpower, and 0 cunning. They get life of 13 per level, and they have experience penalty of 13, or 15. By the way, I actually wrote like, that like little bit up here, so I actually wrote the intro for these guys here. That I did write. Now, I'll note, by the way, I didn't actually really play part, like a major part in like design these guys, so how they're basically designed is like how they're basically designed, so whatever. Note that they're very similar to like the ogres here, but they have like, I guess like more constitution and more like willpower, as opposed to like, these guys have like more magic and more like less willpower, more cunning. So they're similar to Krog and the ogres, but they're different. So there's that. Can a Krog be an alchemist or an archmage or anything like that? It's not giving me a chance to start him, I guess, so we'll see, he can play. Interesting. Let's see here. Choose Childblade just to, test. I mean, technically it's supposed to be anti-magic from the start, but Alright, so here you go. The selected race class has both magic and anti-magic. This is unlikely to work. Continue. So, yes, I'm sure. No. So, basically, that's what they basically did. Much like with, like, the undead, you don't have, like, access to, like, the work, but yes. I guess you can play, like, these guys if you want to, but, they likely aren't going to work as a thing, so that's, like, something to watch out for about the Krog. So, undead basically have the wild locked off, but, these guys can play as mages, but, they're not very good for it, so there's that. Yeah, you know what? I'm really just testing here, so why not? Let's just jump in with the Shadowblade. So, test. Yes, I'm sure. No. So, Davian Krog unlocked. Let's just see here. Alright, so yeah, basically look down here, you can see that the Krog basically start with anti-magic right from the start. So, they have like the racial challenge down here, and they have like, anti-magic right from the start as well. And then there's of course the Shadowblade stuff over here, but whatever. Alright, so Welcome, David Krog Unlocked, blah blah blah. So, welcome to Tales of Maj'Eyal for Forbidden Cults. You are Krog, a former ogre stripped of his ruins by Ziguranth. Ogres cannot live without ruins, yet you, a Krog, have been kept alive by the powers of nature coursing through your body. All the Krogs are infused with anti-magic forces as a result of the changes made to their bodies by the Ziguranth. While much of Maj'Eyal shuns the arcane, there are still those who practice it, and you would like nothing more than to eradicate them from the world. You have come to an old ruin named Corpool, on a mission to limit the thousands of arcane creatures, undeads. So, interesting, these guys are actually starting in Corpool, as opposed to, like, you know, other stuff. Alright, so, I do like the fact that that's, like, you know, an interesting way of, like, you know, starting out the Krogs. They basically start out in Corpool, but whatever. I can go in here if I want to as well, I guess. Alright, cool. I forgot what I actually had to sit to, but whatever. I mean to set that one down, but whatever. Alright, there we go. This like sounds a little bit. Alright, so let's just get to examining like the Krog here and see, like, you know, a little bit more about, like, you know, them, I guess. So it's worth knowing that basically, like, you know, the Krog does have anti-magic down here, so that's basically the thing about these guys. They're actually made to be, like, you know, anti-magic like users from the start. I suppose I should test to see, like, you know, if I go to Zigger, will we be able to talk to, like, Maj'Eyal right away, or, like, you know, what's the plan here with them, I wonder. And you know what? I just want to inspect my creature here, but, yeah, I know they were actually Zigger followers, so dedicated to opposing and destroying magical and arcane influence the world. The use of spells or arcane power equipment is impossible, so that's the thing about them. Let's go see if we can talk to, like, you know, Maj'Eyal right from the start or anything. Well, it still gives us access to his quest here. So I guess, like, you know, you have to, like, do the anti-magic quest if you want to talk to, like, Maj'Eyal here. Yeah, you have to take the test, but whatever. Well, it's worth, like, checking that out, but whatever, it's fine. A little bit about the Krog, basically, that's why I'm looking around, you know, I'm basically learning about the Krog myself here, basically, so they're a thing, but whatever. But anyways, I guess if you don't want to, you don't actually have to be anti-magic with this character, so that begs the question, like, you know, if it's possible to, like, you know, go through, like, you know, one of the other dungeons, get, like, an arcane item, can you go talk to, like, the mage, basically, like, you know, as, like, Anglin or something like that. Oh, is the mage basically over here, I wonder? I don't see him, so I'm guessing not. And by the way, I can see my faction by the way with Zigger, so these guys are like Allocanans, but we're Zigger, so that's the thing about us. Alright, enough of this basically. So, they start with anti-magic, they're basically anti-magic characters. Now, the real crux is like this, like, you know, characters basically like they're, like, you know, racial talents. So here's the racial talents here. Wrath of the Wild. So basically it's like much like the other talents, you have, like, you know, especially with it. So you unleash the Wrath of the Wild for 5 turns. When you deal damage to a creature while Wrath is active, you have an 8% chance, 100% for the first creature hit each turn, to stun them for 3 turns. So basically this guy's all about stunning up people. This effect will only stun a creature once per turn, and it scales to Constitution, so these guys are a Constitution based class, which is, like, awesome, because, like, you know, why not? Alright, so, Drake Infused Blood. Since Ziguranth removed those filthy magic runes from your body, you have needed an alternative form of power to sustain your body. Thanks to Drake's Blood, you have found that power. Your blood hardens yourself, passively increasing stun resistance by 20%, fire resistance by 22%, and dealing 4 fire damage on melee attacks. You can activate this talent to change which Drake aspect to bring forth, altering element types of the bonus. The resistance and damage scales your willpower. So I guess basically you can, like, change it to be like fire, cold, dark, whatever, basically if you want to. So that's what this, like, talent's basically all about. So that's cool. Basically you can sort of, like, you know, if you want to, like, you know, go after Urkus early, because you can have, like, you know, lightning basically, like, you know, resistance if you want to. So cool. Changing your aspect requires combat experience. You may only do so after slaying harm enemies. So okay, so if you have to plan ahead by killing things, so that's worth knowing. When you learn this talent, you become so strong you can wield any type of one-handed weapon in your offhand. So basically, the idea of like the Drake Infused Blood is like, you know, this is where you can basically like, you know, wield like, you know, offhand like, you know, weapons if you want to. So if for example if I was playing like a Marauder, I could basically like go like two like, you know, one-handed weapons with them, which is like, you know, cool, I guess. I'm not sure if Marauder would be like the best weapon, like, you know, character for this, but you know, maybe it might be interesting. Who knows? We'll see. I might do that myself in the future. All right, fuel pain. So your body is used to pain. Your body is used to pain. Use, whatever. When you take a hit of 20% or more of your max life, one of your inscriptions is taken off cooldown, and infusion saturation is removed. So when you're hit hard, basically you basically like, you know, get this removed. This seems like a fairly weak talent, by the way, because like, you know, that's basically based on like, you know, getting hit. And unless like you're like, you know, hit for a lot of damage, and like, you know, it's not gonna basically work. But I suppose like later on it might work a lot. So, you know, probably like when you want this to work, it's when like you're being hit really hard. So that's probably like the good thing about this like talent. So that's the thing to note. But whatever. All right, Drake Blood Strike. So you were created by Ziguranth for one purpose only: to wage war on magic. Since your target, strike your target dealing 217% fire weapon damage and silencing them for 3 turns. The damage type will change with your Drake aspect, so basically if you have like, you know, blue, you'll have like cold damage, I guess. The chance to silence will increase with the highest of your physical and mind powers. So cool. Basically, these guys like, you know, built for like, you know, anti-magic purposes, basically. So worth knowing based about them. Now here's a question I ask myself: which is like the best character to sort of like use with these guys? I wonder. So let's just like, you know, exit this point here. I'll just delete this character because I don't really plan to use him. It's like, you know, I just plan to like show off the Krog basically to like, you know, its effect basically, but whatever. Actually, you know what? I really should actually test something. Can you like use magic at all of like this character? So here's a question basically: if I jump in with like the Krog unlock here, and like, you know, go like use it to like, you know, attack some like, you know, magic users, can you actually like, you know, use your spells at all, or it's like, you know, completely like, you know, locked off, like, you know, you can't use them or train them or anything like that? That's the question. I assume you can't use spells or like anything on this character, by the way, but you know, I really have to test that, so I'm just gonna test it right now. Alright, have I got anything invested in spells, actually? We do have a spell here, Face Door. The spell fizzles. Alright, so what we've done basically, if I was trying to use like this stuff, it basically fizzles, so we can't use like our magic stuff in this character, so it does actually like block you from using magic at all. So be careful of that if you like, you know, you want to play like Krog. You have to like make sure it's like, you know, not using anything magical, I guess, because it won't work. Which makes sense. Alright, so that's basically like the Krog being unlocked finally. I wish I could have unlocked that with like my main character, but you know, it's probably better I actually did it this way because I probably would have failed anyway, so. Alright, it's done. And I have basically like, you know, unlocked 2 basically to like use if I want to, like, you know, perhaps find more lore with like, you know, the Fate Rules like SK's like Chapter 5, so that's a thing as well. Anyhow, so basically the Krog here, what classes are they probably like good for, I guess, playing? Not because they basically have skill, like, you know, skill and constitution and like willpower stats. They're probably like best for like Wormix, probably. And I can actually see them be like, you know, really good Wormix with like their willpower and constitution being really high. But you know, what other classes could it possibly be? I wonder. So I can see them being like good Wormers because of that, basically. As already mentioned, it could probably be Mirages as well, but you know, how effective they'd be, I'm not really sure. Basically, they have like so many like, you know, talents in director, like, you know, would be, you know, stretched very thin. They could probably be rogues, by the way, to get like, you know, probably run around like, you know, dueling like, you know, weapons, I guess. Technically, like, you know, it's not like stopping a rogue from like using like dual like two-handed weapons. So that's something they could probably do. Berserkers basically use two-handed weapons. So I don't think it would help like with them to like use like two like different weapons, but they're possibly as well. The arcane blade could possibly use like dual wield if they want to. So that might be a thing for them. Afflicted. I suspect that Curse could probably use like two one-handed weapons if they want to, so that might be a thing for them. I can't remember like if Doom basically like two-handed weapons or one-handed weapons that might be able to, but whatever. I think they're like more a mage class to Doom, but whatever. By the way, probably like Doombringer could probably like use like the weapon as well. I'm not really sure. Reaver probably is for sure. Basically, Reavers always like start with like one-handed weapons in each hand, so really nothing stopping from like Krog from doing it, I guess as well. Except for the fact they're magic, aren't they? So maybe not. Ignore like the fire class, because like probably like not where you want to be, but whatever. Saw Butcher, Gunslinger, Side Shot. Ooh. Apparently, there's a fourth Tinker option that's been like made. I'll have to look into that. Well, whatever. I've shown off the Krog to you guys. That's basically the main purpose for this video. Hope you guys basically enjoyed seeing the unlock basically happen. I probably actually should have shown off like the Ziguranth like tests and stuff like that, but I figure you guys have probably already seen that, and you probably like, already know basically how basically sort of works. Who knows? Maybe like off time I might like actually show off like getting to like that quest, but you probably like already know how to basically get to it. It's like you'll basically stumble upon it regardless. Although basically the idea for like getting that quest, by the way, all you have to basically do is like go to Ziguranth, basically become like an anti-magic like zealot basically for him, and then go to Last Hope, and then the quest will basically unlock. That's basically all you have to basically do for like getting like the prerequisites for like that like quest to pop up for you. But whatever. Take care, all. That's basically it for now.